Hey guys, interested to know about the working of wireless keyboards? Have you ever wondered how EM waves could transfer keyboard commands over the air? Let's take a cruise through it. First, let's see how existing wired keyboards work. Wired keyboards connect using a serial port by a traditional 5-pin serial connection or a USB cable. The keyboard receives power and transmits information about the commands to the PC over this cable. Most keyboards connect using a USB cable. Now, as we know the basic functioning of wired keyboard, let's go through the wireless ones. Wireless keyboards exchange information with the computer through infrared, radio frequency, or Bluetooth connections. Wireless keyboards receive power through a battery and send the signals to a receiver connected to the PC through a USB port. That is, a small USB port is connected to the computer as a part of the wireless keyboard, which works as a receiver for receiving signals transmitted by the keyboard. The IR and RF connections in wireless keyboards are quite similar to what exists in remote controls. As keys are pressed, the processor in the keyboard evaluates the keys and maps them to characters, which need to be sent to the computer so that the computer can act on the actions of the user. The character the processor evaluates are stored in its memory buffer and then sent to the computer. The transmitter of the wireless keyboard then converts the information received into transmittable form of radio waves and transmits them for the receiver to detect them. The more transmittable form here is the form of electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves carry information in the form of modulation. The receiver, that is the USB device connected to the computer or the built-in driver, then detects the signals which are in form of modulated electromagnetic waves. It demodulates them and converts them into varying voltage levels, which is in the form of information transfer used by the components of a computer. The converted form of information is further passed on to the computer to act on it. After this, an integrated circuit chip sitting inside the keyboard processes all the data it receives from the keyboard and transmits it to the computer for the operating system to perform the required command or display it as content.
So let's try to look at the process in a bit of detail. As the user presses the key, we see that there exist springs below the keys of the keyboard. So when the key is pressed, the spring completes the circuit sitting under the specific key pressed, and so current flows to the circuit of the corresponding key, and the processor knows which key was pressed by detecting the current in that particular circuit. It then converts the information about the character pressed into electromagnetic waves. Here we have shown frequency modulation for ease of visualization. The modulated waves are then transmitted by the keyboard for the USB device connected to the computer to detect, which demodulates the waves received and converts the information stored as wave modulation to digital form, which is how the computer understands and stores information. This digital information is then passed to the operating system to act on it accordingly. We have seen how these keyboards work. But why wireless keyboards? Wireless keyboards are low power devices that can run for a long time on batteries. They reduce the hassle of wires drastically and hence provide a cleaner working space. They can work up to 10 meters of range, allowing work to be done from significant distance to the display, which makes things quite convenient. Although it has been discussed in detail earlier, but let's spend a few seconds talking about the contribution of EM waves in the functioning of wireless keyboards. The most important component in the working of the keyboard is to reflect the changes corresponding to the keys pressed by the user in the application. So the fast and accurate transmission of the information about the keys pressed by the user to the operating system is the most important cog in the functioning of the keyboard, and electromagnetic waves allow just that. So electromagnetic waves make it possible for the user to interact with the computer even while sitting comfortably at a distance, accurately and efficiently. As in issues with all the devices these days, let's see the security available here. Security is always an issue when sending information over the air. Most devices effectively secure information by encrypting data. Other methods include frequency hopping to prevent hacking or eavesdropping. A variation available here are Bluetooth keyboards. They use 2.4 GHz frequencies. They follow the basic Bluetooth protocol. I wish I could tell you more about the Bluetooth protocol, but let's leave it for some other day. Now, what's so special about Bluetooth keyboards? Wireless Bluetooth keyboards provide you much more security in the form of encryption of data, which is sent through EM waves through transmitter to receiver, as well as in the form of pre-shared key, which is absent in the earlier variations. You might think that wireless keyboards aren't that funky, right? What if I tell you that the exciting games that you play on your PS3 using the wireless joysticks and the PlayStation Move use more or less the same technology to wirelessly transmit information about the joystick presses and the position and movement of the Move to the console? Thank you for watching. We hope you learned something new. This was a presentation made by Ashray and Krunal.